corso in fretta questa dolce malattia.
I didn't bring any notes, just me. Okay, well, all kinds of energy and wires and all kinds of things going on here today. Oh, there we go. We've been listening to lots of different fantastic ideas coming from different perspectives and different belief systems today. And it's wonderful that we can get groups together like this to be able to hear other people's way of looking at this reality that we're all a part of. I'll just tell you a little bit about my background so you can see where my belief system is coming from at this time. Because one of the things that I'm told all the time through my intuitive powers, or whatever you want to call them, is that our belief systems grow with us and change with us as we acquire more and more information along our path. And that as our belief systems grow and change with the information that we receive, our reality changes. And I do believe we make our own realities. Right now, I'm a registered healer and trainer with West Country Natural Healing Fellowship. And that means that I do a type of healing work that's energy-based. And I work with lots of different people in different types of belief systems. And when I do my training, we try and work with all of those different systems so that we can work with the people that come to us. Because we believe the best way to work with someone, the most beneficial way for the person that's coming to you, is to be able to step into their belief system at the time, into their reality at the time, so we know where they're coming from and see if it can fit some way in the work that we're doing, with the energy work that we're doing. We're channeling universal or divine energy to work with a person so that their own consciousness and physicality can lead to their own healing. So we're a complementary type of healing work that we're doing, channeling this energy. I started with that in the States, in the United States, as you can tell. I don't have a British accent. I am from the United States. I'm from California. And I started in the 80s with Reiki. And that was my first introduction to energy healing, was Reiki. And I think one of the reasons why Reiki is more acceptable in the States than what we consider what they call either spiritual or natural healing here in the UK is that in the United States for a long time there have been religious healers which have spiritual tent shows that go all over the south of the country and other areas of the country. And they're the guys that go in and say, and you will be healed, like that, and the blind see and the lame walk and that sort of thing. And I think that in my state anyway, because each state is completely different in the United States, I can only talk from California because that's where I was raised, is that a lot of people felt that they didn't want to have anything to do with anything that was like religious or spiritual in nature because it reminded them of these tent shows that were going around. But Reiki was a different thing because Reiki was, or is, working with energy, but it's an Eastern philosophy. And because it was an Eastern philosophy, they could disconnect that from the thought of it being religious. So that's where I started in California, was with Reiki. And I really enjoyed that, and I did a lot of work also really coming out of psychology and nutrition, body work, different types of body work, and then the Reiki, which was the energy work, the healing. Then I came to the UK, got married, wonderful man, and that all kind of stopped for a while. I didn't have a support group any longer. I left all of my friends and family and workmates back in California and came to the UK and lived in Camberley. And little by little sort of put away my healing work until it was practically non-existent. And my back started getting really bad. For some reason, I couldn't understand it. And I thought, well, let's see here. I can't go to a healer because I really don't believe in that sort of thing anymore. It's not part of my reality. It's not part of my belief system. These new people that I've grown to love and be with, we go to the regular medical doctor. So I went to the medical doctor, which was fine, and I did all the things that I was told, and I took the medications, and I went to the, I think I went to an osteopath at that time. Wasn't a chiropractor. And my back I was keeping it at bay. You know, it wasn't really great, but it really wasn't bad. And then we moved down to Devon. We don't really know why we moved to Devon, although now I have a feeling I know why. It was to get me back into healing. Because we got back to Devon, found this little teeny-weeny cottage, moved in, and the week we moved in, my back went out, and I was crippled, and I was on the floor for 3 weeks. Couldn't move, complete agony. They took me off to the hospital to operate, and they were going to operate, and I was in such agony. I said, do anything, just get it fixed. I don't care what you do to me, just fix me. And went in, they took me in the operating room. My husband was there. They were going to do the operation, the whole thing. Couldn't find the papers. Paperwork was nowhere to be found. Well, you know the NHS, they can't operate on you without paperwork. So they sent me home with a huge bottle of pills, all kinds of good things. But there I stayed on the living room floor for about 3 weeks. Colin took care of me. And just lying there, feeling kind of isolated, but knowing, as our last speaker said, you're never really alone. It was that time to link in again. It took that much to get me back into my healing again. There I was, linking back up. And when I was hobbling around, I met someone that knew a very good healer, an energy healer in Devon. And I started to go to her and found a new way a new technique for using my energy work. And instead of calling it Reiki or whatever, you could call it spiritual healing now. And that's how I got back into what I'm doing now. As far as the energy work, I'm more of a spiritual healing, meaning energy work through the spiritual, but not necessarily through religious. I mean, it's completely separate from religion. So that went very well. I've enjoyed it very much, and it has changed my whole life. My back is fine now. I have no problems with the back. Shouldn't say that, right? And I got in with a really great group of people, working with West Country Natural Healing Fellowship, working with some great healers that were doing other techniques, not necessarily what I was using, and we opened up a small healing room in Crediton. That's where I live, in Crediton. And we're there for about 3 years. We said we'd donate our time for a year, but it was going pretty well, and we all enjoyed it so much, doing different types of Indian head massage, Reiki, spiritual healing, natural healing, a lot of different things, and everyone donated their time. Everything was going along just great. And then one day a lady came in, and right before we did work, we would all do it individually, but in one large room. But I was the only one there in the room that day with this one lady that came in, and she sat down and she looked at me and she said, I don't know if you can help me with the type of healing work you do, but I know that I'm possessed by my dead mother-in-law. Well, now being from California and doing a lot of healing work in different areas, I still had never had anyone sit down in front of me and say, I'm possessed by my dead mother-in-law. And so I said, and she said, can you help me? I said, well, with the healing work that we do here, we channel divine or natural energy, depending on your belief system and depending on how the person you're talking to, that's what you would say. And I feel that working together, because your intent was to come here and to do something about this, I'm sure that it will help you to work within yourself and with this healing and with the energy. I feel that we can work for the greatest and highest good possible for you. But as far as getting rid of your mother-in-law, I have no idea. I didn't say it like that, but that's how I felt. I felt I don't have the experience here. I don't know what to say to this woman except what I believe, and what I believe is she's come with the intent to be healed. We will work for the greatest and the highest good. And that was being perfectly honest with her from my point of view. But it really got me thinking about this, because after she left, I knew that it had, when you do healing work, you are in tune. You are linked. And I felt really good about it when she left. But at the same time, I knew it wasn't enough for me. It had really got me thinking about this. What do you do when someone comes to you so honestly and wanting that help, and you really were stumped? I didn't really know what to say to her about that. So I said to the universe, what are we going to do about this? 3 days later, I got a call from a friend because she has a lecture series in her home. She had a lecture series in her home, and she said, I'm having a special lecture tonight. I don't know if you can make it, but a friend's coming, and he's going to talk about rescue work. I said, right, thank you. And so I went off to the meeting, and it was Michael Evans. I don't know if any of you know Michael Evans, but he's down in Devon with a terrific circle that does rescue work. And if you don't know what, how many out there know rescue work? Oh, we got a few out there, okay. It works basically in the belief system that when you pass, when you die, the physical death, your physical body dies, but your spirit then goes on to the next stage of evolution. Goes on to the learning halls, depending on who's talking about it. There are different ideas of where you go to. But the main thing is that your spirit and most times your personality, in some belief systems, the personality and the spirit go together to the next stage. But some of these personalities or spirits don't go into the light. They call it going into the light. Right? And they are roaming. They're connected. They're earthbound spirits. And that would be similar to this woman who felt that her mother-in-law, her dead mother-in-law, had attached to her, had possessed her. And that's what Michael Evans was talking about. Their group, with the help of a medium, would sit at the evenings and work with earthbound spirits to help them go into the light, to help them understand that they had passed from the physical state and they were going on to the next stage. And there are many different reasons why they may not have gone on.
Mi butterei da quella stella spenta di malinconia, in questa urgenza di vivere e furia di sentire, so di esistere.